And we're going to talk about landowner liability for wild animal attacks.
Can't wait to see where this is going.
Well, it's kind of one of those things. It's been in the news that there have been a lot of alligator sightings out here in Madison County, and that's something that's a little bit atypical. So we thought we'd kind of dovetail that into kind of what we do with as far as injuries, liability. Basically, it still kind of goes back to the basic premises of why is somebody on your property? The basic question of is somebody invited? Are they a trespasser? Are they a social guest? But in general, if you're a owner of a property, you're not necessarily going to be liable for a wild animal attack on your property. They're not it's not an act of nature like a thunderstorm or wind or lightning or rain type of thing, but it is a situation where wild animals are unpredictable, and unless you know and should have known that they're going to be there and present danger to your guests, you're more than likely not going to be liable. But the flip side of that is this: is that if you know they're there and you don't warn people about them, then you can open yourself up to liability.
So you've got to assume, to some degree, a source of water could have an alligator.
Right.
The woods could have a coyote. So to what degree is the person on your property responsible for not just having the common sense to know that a wild animal could be in that situation?
Well, clearly people, they assume the risk of somebody can assume the risk of injury on property. If you open up your property to recreational use for any kind of, recreational use, hunting, hiking, climbing, caving, rappelling, those types of things, then there is a statute in Alabama that says you are not responsible for injuries on your property unless it is willful or malicious. So there is some protection for property in its natural state. If it's if it's your property and you've got a big pond out there, and or you should know that there piranha, alligator, whatever are in there, then you have an obligation to warn people that you invite onto your premises.
I want to remind folks, by the way, we still have time to take a call. 256-536-0077, the number right there on the bottom of your screen.
So I do have to ask you, because I know it blew my mind when I heard that there was an alligator in our area. Did that surprise you too?
Yeah, I've lived here all my life. I've known they're in remote areas. There have been sightings, so we know that they're here. I think it's become more prevalent in the last 5-10 years in terms of sightings, and the developers are going to the areas that are traditionally very secluded and natural, and that's humans are going to the animals. The animals aren't coming to us.
That's a good point.
So it's a difficult situation that we're dealing with. One of the things that people have asked us is, there are alligators on greenways, in terms of public property that the city owns.
Right.
What is the city's responsibility to do that? They're not going to go out and shoot an endangered species. They can't do that. That's illegal. Right. But they can trap the species. They can do things like, and definitely put signs up to warn people of the known dangers.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right, good information right here.
Sure.
Thank you so much for coming on.
All right.
And don't forget to check out their blog, because they have a lot of great information up there. So lawinjury.com/blog, and you can have that all there.